Wes Robertson, the world is waiting for this information. We've been teasing and teasing, and now we finally get to let the world know all about LT Games.
Hey, thanks for having me, Matt. I'm excited to talk about it with you.
Well, listen, before we do that, I believe there's nothing, this is what I've learned to value in my many years of existence. There's almost nothing more valuable than someone putting you over, as we say in wrestling, someone else giving you love. And so I want to shout out Jared, who introduced us. And for those that don't know, Jared is the one who built DECA brick by brick with Yancey in those early years. So shout out Jared Cogswell for connecting me with you. And I know he's over there and doing great stuff. So anyway, just wanted to do that. And I guess, where would you like to start? Would you like to start with just kind of the birth, the purpose, the why? Where do you want to start, Wes?
Yeah, I think that's a great place to start of why I even get the opportunity to be speaking to you today, Matt. Yeah, I think that's a good place.
All right, we'll go for it.
Yeah, so, oh man, put me on the spot right away. I love it. First of all, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk to you and everybody about LT Games. But the birth of LT Games happened, believe it or not, we're coming up close to probably 2 years ago is when this whole process started. And this started because Lifetime wanted to get into the hybrid fitness racing space, right? Let's call it what it is. High Rocks right now is doing amazing. And Lifetime knows that we're not here to compete with High Rocks, but we do know that we have the ability to bring together the community that Lifetime has already built inside of our almost 200 locations. But we also have the space, the equipment, the kind of science, the understanding of how to really put together training facilities, and put on a competition as well. So back and forth. The really cool part about LT Games is our founder and CEO, Bahram Akradi, is super passionate about the LT Games. So passionate that when we started to design the program and what the race was going to look like, everything had to be handed over to him. He wanted to see every single aspect of it. So it's super cool, but that's kind of drug out the process, right? He's an important, pretty busy guy as we open up, 10 to 12 locations across the country every single year. But going back and forth with Bahram, and then a couple key kind of people inside of Lifetime. We had Danny King, Juan Herrera, Connor Fleming, these names that have competed in multiple different areas. We went back and forth, and we finally landed on probably our 5th version of a race that we believe is a great, true hybrid experience.
Yeah, because you and I have been talking, I feel like, since at least the spring.
It's been a long time, yeah, and I've been leading you. I've been throwing little little fish out there, throwing little bait out there for you to just keep. I got to keep reeling you in, Matt.
It's definitely worked, and I think we're hungry for it. I've been a broken record of High Rocks is great, DECA's doing their thing. Where are the rest of the fitness races? The UK, they're popping up daily. I just got off the phone with a guy in the UK, something called the Gauntlet, yet another fitness race. So I've been waiting, and I'm excited to hear about this. I quickly want to ask about you. This will be on video and podcast form. For those that can't see you, I'm going to guess you were either a football or rugby player. Am I correct?
Oh, that's a great guess. I played high school football, but I actually was a baseball player.
Okay.
Played baseball in college. I was there to hit. I'm going to be honest with you. They had me on the team because I was going to swing as hard as I could every opportunity I got. So played baseball in college. Actually had a weight loss journey of my own. Along with baseball, I ate like I was a football player. I ate and drank like I was a football player in college. So baseball I didn't have the same conditioning. So I had a weight loss journey of my own. That's really kind of where my passion for competing already started to come into play. I'd always been an athlete. Weight loss journey. Okay, I need to get back into it. I need to have something to consistently train for. So baseball is my background. I currently do some local CrossFit events. I'm signed up for High Rocks, right? Like I'm all in right now. I'm all in on all things fitness.
Where did you go to school?
The University of South Dakota. So not many people know where that's at, but I grew up in South Dakota.
Are they the Fighting Bison? What are they called?
Oh man, you're killing me. That is the other state. That's North Dakota. This is South Dakota.
Sorry, buddy.
We always get bison. We always get jackrabbits, which is the other school. So I went to the University of South Dakota. We were the Coyotes, and that's in Vermilion, South Dakota.
Who were your guys growing up? Who were the hitters that you idolized?
Oh, I mean, I still go back to like the Mark McGuire, Sammy Sosa battle. That was always a thing. But I'm left-handed, so Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Bonds will always be the two prettiest swings in all of baseball.
Really?
Without a doubt.
What about a guy that knocks a few singles? What about a Wade Boggs? What about a Pete Rose?
Yeah, chicks dig the long ball, Matt. We all know this.
All right, Wes. So let's get into it, man. So I gotta be honest. The first thing you said, or the first thing I think Jared said, he's like, "Oh, I think we've got a 17 station," and I definitely did a little double take on the 17. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the intensity of this thing.
Yeah, so 17 stations. What I will say is it's been weird because I told you we've been keeping this workout really close to our heart, and that's even internally. We have lifetime, coaches and members who want to know more about LT Games, and the 17 stations is, I would say, less running volume than some of our competitors. Right, the High Rocks, it's definitely not going to be as much running. We're going to be volume based on not only the cardiovascular side of things, but also from like an muscular endurance standpoint as well. So 17 stations, the volume does get a little bit shorter. So like our race finishes with a 200-meter run. So you're getting shorter on some of the runs that we do. The volume of work gets kind of shorter as you move down all of these stations.
And should we just bring it up? Should we just bring up what I've got and we can go through it?
Oh yeah, let's do it. I know you've been searching the ends of the internet for these workouts because I haven't been giving you much.
Well, listen, what kind of journalist would I be if I didn't have good sources, couldn't find good information? And so, yeah, I heard a little bit before you finally let go of the reins. Let's see. Hang on a second. I got to find my latest email from Wes. So we can go ahead and look at this judge's score sheet.
Yeah.
All right. So explain, as I pull it up, explain I'm calling it choose your own adventure. What are you calling it?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I call it as well. Choose your own adventure. The great part about LT Games is the athletes will get to lean into the type of athlete that they are.
All righty. Well, and this is all indoor. So it's all machine. Correct. The running is machine based, not track based.
Correct. Yep. We have in our current target center location, we have some assault runners at each one of these running stations.
Okay. So let's go through it. We're going to run. So 3, 2, 1, go. Are we standing already on the thing? Are we standing in front of it? What's the
setup? Athletes will be standing right behind. And the way we have the target center location is we'll have, we've been calling them lanes. So we'll have 4 lanes for athletes. So heat style start. So 4 athletes will all start at the same time. They'll 3, 2, 1, go. They'll be standing next to their assault runner. They'll step onto their assault runner, and all athletes complete their 1,000-meter run. I know this is not the pretty version. This is the judges' scorecard, so bear with us.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We can make pretty graphics later. All right, straight into deadlift of 10,000 pounds, and I assume this is men, women, 10 and 7,500.
Yep, that's correct. And right, we want to make sure everyone understands that would be a world record by 5 times if you did that in 1 rep. So we're not asking you to do that. Not asking you to do that. You can see there are 3 weight options at each one of our weighted or kind of challenge stations. There are 3 options. There is a low, medium, and a high. So a male athlete has to deadlift 10,000 pounds. So they have 3 options. They can load 225 pounds on their barbell. They then have to do 45 reps. If they want to go with a lighter option, 135 pounds, that's great. But now they have to do 74 reps in order to get to that 10,000 pound threshold. So no matter what option you pick, you still have a certain threshold or a certain amount of volume that needs to be done before you're moving on to the next station.
So this is just, again, will it be just in a line, like they hop off the treadmill and boom, there's the bar?
That's exactly what it is, right? So you're done with your run, and then right next to that, shout out to Torque. I can maybe give a little tour after we walk through this. I'll move my camera around, but Torque Fitness, our official equipment provider, built us a beautiful layout. It's one long line. It's about 100 feet of equipment just moving down. So they've got us set up so that it's nice and easy. Athletes can go from one station to the next without having to bounce around across our open floor.
Okay. And do I have one judge with me the whole time, or are the judges at each station?
You're setting me up for success here, Matt. Yep. So a judge is going to follow the athlete from station to station. So if you're my athlete, I'm with you from the start. 3, 2, 1, go. Right. Giving you a fist bump right before, but I'm going to be there to make sure that I'm watching every single rep that you do, making sure that every single meter is completed before I let you move on to that next station.
Okay. So then we hop on a rower, right? Easy peasy.
Yep.
Crank out our 1,000 meters. Now, why are we not rowing? Why are women not rowing the same amount?
Yeah, a lot of that comes down to, right, what we've seen in other races and just the fitness world in general, especially with these monostructural pieces. Mass moves mass, right? So most of our male athletes are going to be longer and weigh a little bit more. So when we sit down on that row machine or the skier, we're going to make sure that the women aren't having to do too much of that extra load just because we want to keep things even. I will say that, based on some of the workouts that I've done, there are some females that are way more fit than me that are going to look at that 750 and almost, right, like, oh, well, that's not enough. And the reason we went with the 75% of the workload is because that's where all of our barbell work comes into play as well. So we know that the barbell is going to be maybe somewhat of the limiting factor for this. So all workload, whether it's the cardiovascular machines or barbell work or wall balls and box jumps and things like that, it's 75% of that load.
All right. I think when it comes to machine work, personally, it's like the runs. I think it's all the same because women are competing against women, right? They're taller, they're smaller. There are some short dudes that won't do as well in the rower. You know what I mean? What about those guys? But that's my personal feeling. So then we move on to wall balls, 1,000 pounds of wall ball. So you've got a 20-pound for the man, a 16-pound, and a 14-pound. Okay.
Yep.
So
10 foot. Oh, go ahead.
Don't wall balls usually have kgs on them or no?
They do, but
so it's 9. What is it? 9, 6, and something else. I don't know.
I'm not going to do the math right here and on a podcast like this for you. But yeah, Torque Fitness provided us with a wall ball. So 20, 16, and 14 pounds for our male athletes, and then 16, 14, 12. 10-foot target for male athletes and 9-foot target for female athletes.
Okay, so women have lighter weight and smaller target or less height of the target.
Correct.
Again, another machine straight into the ski, and then box jump. Okay, for first question, of course, box jump or box step over.
That is a great question. This is box jump over. I have not got you the updated judges scorecard, but this is a box jump over, and we've gone back and forth with it. To be completely honest. We know that standards are probably one of the harder things on a fast movement like that. So with box jump over, it's going to be a little bit easier of, okay, you take off from 2 feet, you land with 2 feet, you are on the other side with 2 feet stepping down. Once you get to a box, right, that box jump over, you're just going over the box. Box jump up or box jump, having to look for full hip extension at the top is sometimes where the judging standards get a little hairy. So we're going box jump over for the 1,000 and 750 inches.
Okay. Can I step over?
That would not be allowed in our LT Games race. We are looking for a 2-foot takeoff. We do have to have a step down, but it needs to be a box jump for our athletes.
Well, I would say this is the first thing that jumps out at me that is probably not doable for someone who's relatively new to fitness.
Yeah, and I don't disagree. We've kind of gone back and forth, and I'm glad we're kind of getting to speak on this. When we think about LT Games, and I know I want to get through the rest of the race. When we think about LT Games, I will say that a big difference for us is this is not a race. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm talking bad about other businesses with this, but this isn't going to be a race for everyone. We are going to have a limited field of athletes at our first race here in the Twin Cities in October 25th and 26th. We're only going to have about 250 tickets. So it's going to be a smaller field. We are looking for the upper tier of athletes that are willing to take this race on for right now. Now, know that this is our first race. We want to get a couple under our belt and build from there. But then we might be able to change standards and come up with different options, age divisions, all those pieces. But for right now, we're going to really lean into the top tier athletes and high level.
Well, listen, this goes back to my OCR days in terms of just deliver on what you promise. Just be honest about what you offer. So that would happen with obstacle races where they'd be like, this is the toughest day of your life, but bring the kids, because they want to appeal to everyone. And I've said since day one, High Rocks is not for everybody, right? You if you haven't been in the gym, you can't do 100 wall balls, right?
Yeah.
And if you haven't pushed a sled properly, it's going to fuck you up. And if you don't have good row form, it's going to fuck you up. I can tell you, I've done those things improperly. So it's okay to say we're not for everybody. It's totally okay. But I know personally for me, like, I can't do that many box jumps. Like I can step over some boxes, but I don't have the hops to do that right now. All right, let's keep rolling. Back to another run. Hang on.
Yep.
Did I maximize this? Don't know how to do my own thing. Okay. Oh, I know why, because I'm not looking at it. There we go. So then we do another run.
Yep.
But this run is shorter. This run is 600 meters.
Yeah. So each one of our run, every time you step onto the assault runner, you're getting a little bit shorter with your distance. And I will say the thought process behind this, when we think about LT Games, I'm going to continue to plug Lifetime in general here. But the LT Games is designed around our complete circle of what we call our SGT, our signature group training products. So at Lifetime, we have 4 main SGT products. It's GTX, which is guided training experience, Ultra Fit, which is our sprint interval class, Alpha Strength, which is our functional fitness class, and then Alpha Conditioning, which is our, I would say, closest to athletic style training. In Ultra Fit, which is where we get into this kind of shorter distances, our run times get a little bit shorter. So intensity picks up. So that's where Ultra Fit is really seen in this LT Games race, is by the duration of workload and the going down, your intensity is going to go up as we work through this LT Games course.
So my buddy David Alexander started working with you guys recently. Do you know David?
Yep. David's a great guy.
He's awesome. I know he's coaching. I've seen him promote these alpha classes. Is this new? Have you guys had these modalities for a while?
Yeah, Ultra Fit is the newest one, and Ultra Fit has gone through a couple different versions. I would say we're on Ultra Fit, 2.4 right now. But we've had Alpha has been around since probably 2015, maybe even earlier. Director of Alpha, David Freeman, can correct me on that one. GTX has gone through a couple different versions, but this version of GTX that we have right now has been around since, I would say, 2019. So we've had this signature group training inside of Lifetimes for coming up on 20 years now.
All right. So now we have BB shoulder to overhead, 6,000 pounds. So much volume, dude. You're killing me with the volume. My wife is super fit. I don't know that she could do this much volume.
And here's the thing. We wanted to make sure that this is not something, and even when we had our last tests, I know you got your hands on a couple of the sneak peeks behind the scenes. Even with these high level athletes.
So this is my wife. This is Stacy.
Hi, Stacy.
How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
So this is this LT Games that they're doing, and it's a lot of volume, dude.
95. Yeah, that is a lot of.
So you can choose one of these. You can choose lower weight, higher reps, or higher weight, lower reps. But that's a lot of work, dude.
Wait, so that's the weight plus the reps, or that's?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have to do this many pounds total, right? 6,000 pounds total, and so you've got to do
75 pounds times 80.
Or 135 times 45.
No, I could do that. Not at that weight necessarily, but that rep range I'm used to.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there's my wife for you.
Hey, Stacey, that's a great answer there, Stacey.
It's a great answer, Stacey.
Making me look better. Making me look good here, Stacey.
Listen, she's literally a professional. She's a trainer. So you would think that like maybe someone married to that person might be more fit or might eat better, but what can you do? You can lead a horse to water, but you know what I mean?
No, and I think it's a legit call out. It is a lot of volume, and the reason we want that is we really when we design this workout, a true hybrid, right? When we think about what the word hybrid means, obviously everyone has different definitions. We want someone who's going to be able to have the endurance and the capacity to really move the what are significant weights for that amount of volume. Now, we also had to make it so that even the pro athletes that we're going to get to come out onto the course aren't going to be able to pick up that barbell and do all of this work unbroken, right? Like I want there to be a little bit of strategy of when do you break this up? How heavy do you go?
Can we talk a little bit about how your athletes / influencers did on this? What was their feedback?
So feedback was there was a couple different things. One, we're a hinge heavy race. There's no hiding this, right?
Oh my goodness.
I know this.
No, this is great. So my fitness journey, right? I became a trail runner at age 40 and started doing obstacle races. And you can get away with just doing like 20, 30 miles a week and some body weight, right? And that made me like a pretty good weekend exerciser for obstacle races. That does not work for this. And I've kind of been applying the same sort of half-ass 3 weeks on, 6 weeks off training. And I've got bad movement. And I started training with someone recently. I'm training with David over at Union Fit, which is a great High Rocks gym here. I want to shout out.
Yeah.
But also I started going to a PT who does what I'm going to call some old lady stuff, but like, that's what I need. Right.
Yeah.
Like even with my rowing form, which I thought was decent, really isn't. My ankles are shit. Like you got to like the hinging is everything. And I learned at age 50 that I got no hinge. So this is good and bad news for me because I do want to get better. And my buddy Cheryl, who's coming to this event with me, has been my inspiration because she's older than me and she's crushing it. So she's age group winner, world champ in DECA and High Rock. So anyway, cool. Continue.
Yeah, we're hinge heavy. I understand that. I'll call it out right away. We're hinge heavy and we're overhead heavy. That was the feedback that we got as we kind of piloted through this. And I think it's one of those things where once we release the workout and people get their hands on it, they just have to train a little bit differently, right? Like we know that the posterior chain is super important for daily living. Overhead is one of those things where the reason people aren't great at it is because we don't do enough of that overhead kind of strength training. So this is our way of almost forcing the hand in that. But the cool part about this, and let's be real, I'm significantly biased with how I look at this workout. But as we played into this, I looked at the two ends of the spectrum right now in fitness, right? We have CrossFit on one side, and then we have High Rocks. Those are the two big dogs. When we design this workout, I personally feel that we fall somewhere close to the middle of those two spectrums. And the thing that excites me about that is the way that our course is laid out and the way that this race is going to take place is I hope that we have some athletes that truly train CrossFit. And then we have some athletes that are predominantly High Rocks training modality, right? Or that hybrid. And I want to see in this race who ends up being the most fit of all, right? You're going to have pieces where some people are going to be better runners. They're going to excel. But now can you be efficient with some of the strength movements? Can you move that barbell efficiently? Can you do your box jumps with the right footwork? Those things.
I've talked about having more fitness races, and there are several of them that are just like High Rocks light, High Rocks different order. And I don't think we need more of that. And I think definitely there's athletes who want, something different. What are they doing in front of our house, honey? Sorry. There's some construction men, and I don't know what they're doing in front of our house. Oh, you know what they're doing? I think they're fixing that fucking pothole that's been there forever. Sorry, I didn't mean to be so distracted.
There we go.
All right. So do we load our own bars?
That's a great question. Athletes do load their own bars. That's just the way of keeping it even. We don't have enough space to have potentially 3 or 6 barbells at each location. So athletes load their own bars, but once they're done, they move on to the next one. And then we have judges or kind of cleaning crew that come by and unload the barbells before the next athlete will get there. That's another good piece of the way this is set up is I talked about we have stage starts. So a new stage of athletes will start every 15 minutes. So Matt, if you're the 8 a.m. heat, right? You and 3 other athletes start at 8 a.m. I'm the 8:15. So you're moving down the course 15 minutes ahead of me, hoping that you're trying not to let me catch you is what the goal is.
Gotcha. So that's barbell shoulder overhead. So then another row, and again, we're decreasing volume. And then, oh my God, more box step overs.
You get to step over this time.
Yay,
you get
thank
to step
God.
over.
Thank God. But it's a 40 pound or a 20 pound.
Yeah, so male athletes hold a 40-pound D-ball, while our female athletes hold a 20-pound D-ball. So you get to step over, but you have to do it with that extra 40 pounds.
All right, then another ski. Or is that the first ski? No, that's another ski. So it's 17 stations, but there's like 9 modalities, right?
Correct.
Is that
Yep.
another way to look at it?
Correct.
All
yeah.
right. So that's slightly less intimidating. Now we've got burpee box jump overs because you didn't do enough box jump. So now you got to do the burpee first.
Yeah, we want to make sure that your heart rate is where we want it to be, right? So you have to get yourself onto the floor, controlled fall, get yourself off the floor, and then you get to jump over.
So I am definitely going to be doing what we like to call a media lap, where I will be demonstrating a few of these as I go through. I do not think I will be doing this start to finish. Again, Cheryl will. Cheryl's a beast. Sorry, Cheryl. Throwing you under the bus on here. And then can you hear that, by the way? I hope you can't.
I can't.
Okay, good. Then now we're down to a quick quarter mile, crank that out. And then everybody's favorite, dumbbell ground to overhead. Are we alternating?
2 dumbbell heads. The 2 dumbbells, 1 dumbbell head has to touch the ground, and you've got to be locked out overhead, biceps by your ears.
So it's both. So it's
2 dumbbells.
So it's double. And then we've got either 50 by 50, 35 by 35, 25. Oh, that's just each hand. Okay. 50 in each hand, yep. 25 in each hand. And then we're going to do 80, 58, or 40. And then we've got, let's see. And then where did my little thing go? And then the
final row
of 400 meters. Then dead ball over the shoulder. So that's just the throwing it over your shoulder.
Pick it up, toss it up. And this is, I've called this, a couple people have called this is just a road bump. Like this is an annoying movement. And the reason it's there is because we don't want you to have to sprint the 400 meter row and then sprint the 200 meter run. So I got to give you something annoying right in between to pick up off the ground.
So we pick the dead ball off over the shoulder.
Yep.
And dump it. And then we run and then we die.
We talked about leaving or trying to get a sponsor for some crash pads right at the end of the course. So when you get done with that 200 meter run, you can just fall right onto the crash pad.
That's nice. So let's talk about how these athletes broke it up. You had some high level CrossFit athletes. So tell people, you said 3 CrossFitters were at the top. So who was number 1? Was it Cole? What's his first name?
Nico Bedone, actually.
Nico Bedone was the winner.
Yep. He came in blistering. I knew the guy was fit, and I think everyone, there knew the guy was fit, but he started out really fast, and I kept expecting him to slow down at some point throughout the race, and he just never slowed down. He just kept going.
What was his, what kind of weight was he choosing?
For the barbell, the deadlift, he picked the 225. That's a extremely lightweight. If you go follow him on Instagram, he's putting double that weight over his head, right? Or pretty close to that. For the shoulder to overhead, he is a short, compact athlete, very efficient with the barbell. So he was able to shoulder overhead the heaviest weight. But I do believe that when he got to the dumbbells, he picked the medium weight for that one. So I think by the time he got there, he was moving down the course. So by the time he got there, I think he had a plan to go with the heavy weights, but then adapted a little bit. So that's the cool part about this is, the old quote of Muhammad Ali is everyone's got a plan until you get punched in the face. And the LT Games course sometimes punches you in the face. So you have to make some changes on the course.
All right. We're going to go right now, by the way, because, people attribute that to Tyson. Some say Muhammad Ali. We're going to ask Chat. Chat knows everything. Yeah. Let's ask Chat. Hang on one second.
And I hope I wasn't wrong in front of all of the people that are watching this.
It's probably neither. That's probably what's going to happen. Okay, are you ready for the final verdict? Thinking. He's thinking. Oh, we broke it.
I just imagine.
If we're both quiet, I can edit around this part. I think I hadn't reloaded it since yesterday, and I ask it about 1,000 questions a day, and I needed to refresh it, so it's thinking. The line is famously for Mike Tyson.
Oh.
It was his way of saying that preparation and strategy don't always survive first contact with reality, especially in a fight. Want me to give you a backstory of when and why he first said it? I do not want that. You know, chat always wants to to engage and keep you on.
Yep.
Well, there you go. So it's Mike Tyson.
Man.
But that's okay. That you got that wrong doesn't make you a bad person. So, but let's talk about the rest of the folks. So that's a high level CrossFitter. You had some other folks who are influencer types who are super fit, but not the level of a Nico. What did they? Were they saying the same thing? Were they saying I wanted to go middleweight, ended up going light, or what? How did that all go with most people?
Yeah, it was one of those things where you can look at the workout on paper. I think everyone, for the most part, stayed pretty true to the weights that they knew they were going to use. But what we saw was that their pacing on some of the monostructural pieces significantly changed, right? They came out maybe too hot. It was exciting. We had music blare and there's all these cool music, right? It was a content shoot as well as a race, but it was a really cool experience. So some of the athletes came out a little hot on the run, and we saw that kind of catch up to them and slow them down on the piece of equipment. Again, I want to shout out Torque, our official provider. They have the Torque Stealth Air, which is their rower, very similar to the rower that most people are used to, but the pacing is a little bit different on there. So it's a mental challenge as well as
why is the pacing different?
So they still use the fan structure. It's more of the way that the bungee and the chain is set up a little bit. Your pace, your 500-meter split pace looks a little bit different than what it sometimes does on a Concept 2. So I think for some of the athletes that hadn't spent much time on that stealth rower, the Torque rower, there was a little, okay, how do I need to use this to be most efficient and get this row distances complete? The same thing with the Torque. Their ski machine is actually called the Torque Ripper. It's an attachment to their wall, so it doesn't have a base like the Concept 2 ski erg. It's attached to the top, so there's nothing below it. Again, different than the Concept 2. It's still the same motion, still the same concept, but it's a different machine and uses the magnetic force that they've kind of designed in their Torque sleds. So it's just about these athletes finding out where they need to have the resistance for some of this. So
we had a very long conversation a couple months back about this because I'm trying to wrap my brain around the difference between the regular sled and the Torque sled and how it's equally fair for anybody because it's resistance based. And I'm still not quite sure I understand it. So explain to me what is your equivalent ski pace to how you do on the Torque machine, or is it?
From a ski perspective, my 500-meter split on the Torque Ripper is probably about 10 seconds faster than the Concept 2. From the Stealth Rower, I'm about 10 seconds slower. So it ends up evening themselves out if we were to have Concept 2.
With the same amount of output.
Correct.
So explain that to me.
So the row, the rower, for instance, I know Stealth uses a bungee they have a bungee and a chain rather than just the full chain mechanism as I believe Concept 2 does. For the Torque skier, their Ripper, it's magnetic force, and Torque, please don't be mad at me that I'm ruining this if I speak wrong, but it's magnetic force. So it's still got a damper system, but it's the magnet base where it's one of those things, just like with the sled, the harder you work, the more it's going to push back at you. So it's about finding that kind of equal balance of I need to work hard enough where I'm gaining these meters, but if I work too hard, it's going to make the ski even harder. The harder I'm working, the harder it's making me work to continue to get that kind of distance. So it's about finding a true kind of consistent pace with the ski where right on the Concept 2, you might be able to rip for a couple and then take a couple 5 easier strokes to get your heart rate up. that ripper is just about being a little bit more consistent throughout.
So does Torque design those that way? Like, was that something they thought was like missing in the space? Like, hey, this is like rower is a rower, and let's create a different style of resistance.
It's a great question. I don't want to.
I do. I ask great questions.
I don't want to speak for Torque per se.
It kind of fascinates me because I don't understand it.
Yeah, and I would say the rower is definitely the most similar, right? If you were to put these side by side and take off, all of the branding and the general person who's not spending, thousands of meters on this aren't gonna understand. The ripper is going to be the visually most different, right? Because the ripper is actually just an attachment to their Torque equipment. So there's no base below it. I think that's a cool concept because it takes up so much less room that they're just able to bolt onto the equipment that they've already had. So if you even have a Torque squat rack, right, a full rack, they have bolt-on attachments where you just bolt these pieces on, and then by a couple years down the road of you just accumulating equipment, you have this kind of stand-up rack, this full rack that has 6 different pieces. They have a cable attachments, all that. So they go from that standpoint of like most efficient when it comes to space usage.
Gotcha. All right. So we've got this first event coming up October, is it 25th and 26th?
25th and 26th, Saturday, Sunday.
So that's 2 months from today. It's August 25th as we record this. And then how soon will you be letting us know what the rest of the next phase is?
Yeah. So we are planning on announcing at that event where we are going next. Lifetime, as you might know, well, I know, you have a couple locations around you, but Lifetime has clubs across the country. So the plan in 2026 is to build a couple more LT Games hubs so that as we build hubs, we can host more competitions around the country. The cool part about this, as you talked about Union before, we are hosting not only the competition here in the Target Center, but we're hosting classes here daily. So I taught class this morning. We have LT Games classes where we design programming to not only make you more fit and make you a better athlete, but to get you ready specifically for the LT Games race.
So what's but what do we think the ultimate goal is? Or is it too soon to tell? Like, is it 20 a year? Is it 50 a year?
Yeah. I mean, ideal scenario, if you were to say, okay, Wes, give me your 5-year plan. The hope is to have 10 to 12 LT Games hubs around the country so that we can host 1 or 2 races a quarter. And those races would end up being qualifiers, top 5 or top 10 from each age group, then qualify for a national competition. Again, that's a 5-year plan, probably by the time we get to, having enough locations to run that national competition. But
because like the Lifetime, like at Perimeter, right, that you have here, or Lifetime Buckhead, like isn't big enough to do this.
They do not probably have the space right now, right? We're going to have to be strategic on how much square footage each one of our locations have, because Target Center, beautiful location, right? We're right below where the Minnesota Timberwolves and Minnesota Lynx play, and they have concerts. They have, 4 pickleball courts right beside me where I'm hosting this LT Games space. So we had a very large space and large arena to host this. So we're going to have to look for the locations that make sense financially and right for people that are there to convert into an LT Games hub.
And what do we think for this number you talked about, like 250 people a day, so like 500 over a weekend kind of thing or more? Yeah,
we're thinking probably the way that I've done the math is knowing if we start at 8 a.m., right, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., 4 athletes every 15 minutes, and we probably need to have some breaks in there for cleanup and stuff like that, right? It's a long time. So it's probably going to be closer to 250 for the entire weekend that we'll be able to host these competitions.
All right. Well, I'll give you some help. You ready for my free marketing advice?
I love it.
Okay. Friday Night Lights, that's another 100 people right there.
Yep.
Right. Throw a 5 p.m.er in there, right? Make it more special. I don't know, whatever. And then maybe the bank holiday on Monday. I don't know. Try to just get some more people in. So for this first one, that what you did already, this photo shoot / thing you did, that was you invited like 10 folks. For this, is it half invite, half open to the public? Like, what's this first one going to be?
Yeah, it's going to be all open to the public. We'll have a couple of people that we've already, talked to and have shown interest. We have pretty solid sponsors. Of Noble is our official partner for LT Games, and 10,000 is our official clothing provider and sponsor as well. So they'll have some athletes that they're bringing out, right? So that'll be a cool piece of it. But we've definitely talked to some other big names in the fitness space that we are going to hope to have out here and invite them. But I would say that 95% of our tickets are going to be open to the public, lifetime members and non-lifetime members as well.
Do you know my friend Jack D Fitness?
I do not have the privilege.
All right. Well, he's a 10,000 guy. We should get him for sure.
Yeah, love it.
And we'll talk offline about who else we want to get. We'll talk to some other folks.
Yeah, you've been helping me already.
Well, there's definitely a few folks that have reached out who they heard something or they live somewhere in the Midwest and they want to know more. And so this information is dropping when? When is this happening publicly?
Yeah, so our registration is going to open September 5th. It's a Friday. So we are a week and a half out from registration opening. So website's being finalized this week. Registration should be open September 5th. We'll officially have everything ready to go so people can start signing up and we can be ready for them in October.
So what if registration opens September 5th, when are you gonna say it's opening up September 5th? Because I'm not even gonna put this out until then, I guess, or 2 days before. Like, when are we saying we're saying, I guess?
Yeah. As of right now, we have it scheduled for September 2nd.
Okay.
That is if it gets to that point. If it was up to me, we'd be releasing it. We want to make sure it comes out properly, right? We have so many different places that Lifetime can release this information. We want to make sure our members get a hold of it before we release to the public. But September 2nd is the official last date, line in the sand. Everything's got to be out by then.
All right, cool. All right. Well, thanks for talking to me. We'll talk soon.
Awesome. I appreciate you having me, Matt.
All right.